So let me just start off by saying that this video is not meant to be a flex or to talk about pretty privilege. But what I'm talking about is modeling and acting overall. And with the way the industry is shifting, you don't need a certain look to be qualified. And actually, especially with modeling, they're looking for unique looks, all kinds of different body types. You know, it's 2022 and there is no cookie cutter type for modeling and acting anymore. And actually, representation has become very important in the film industry, movies, TV, and social media, because companies and production companies are being mindful of this. The hardest part is knowing where to look, applying yourself, and being okay with rejection, and rinse and repeat. So maybe after you're watching this video, you're inspired to go out there and look for gigs yourself, because why not? Why not try it? Maybe it's something for you, who knows? Maybe it's been a dream of yours. I know for me, growing up, I always wanted to be on billboards, or I wanted to be in TV, and I'm kind of living that dream out right now, and I'll talk about what I've done so far. But first, let's start with how I even came across this opportunity to be a model slash actor. So as a student, I was always trying to find fun ways to make money in my free time, and that was very flexible with my own schedule, because if you don't know, I'm in medical school. I'm currently on a year off, but I'm going back here in a few months. And my schedule, no matter what, is kind of hectic, sometimes unpredictable, but it's not impossible to do things for myself and have days off and, you know, have side hustles. Before I started medical school, I was told by friends who were doing extra work for TV shows. So I applied for some extra work and I got some really cool roles. You know, extra work means your background. You're just walking, your face may or may not be recognized, you're not doing anything spectacular, but you get experience with the set, the production, and what they're kind of looking for. How I even got into extra work was through Facebook. There's Facebook groups. I live in Chicago, and Chicago PD, Chicago Fire, Chicago Med is always casting for extras. And now in Chicago, and especially LA and Atlanta, Georgia, and other cities, there's probably a lot of TV shows filming, and they're always looking for extras. And the pay typically hovers around like over minimum wage, and they usually pay you for 8 to 10 hours for a day for just being there. But it's not actually like really work. You're sitting there and they might need you for the whole day. They might need you for a couple hours, and you'll be in this thing called holding, and you can be doing any other thing you desire. So if you don't have a full-time job, maybe you even have like a remote job that you could work at your leisure, you can be on set getting paid in addition to working on your own stuff, which is why I love that concept. So of course, I didn't want to just do extra work my whole life. I wanted to do something bigger. I actually wanted to get TV auditions. I wanted to be on TV. I wanted to do like high-level commercials. I want to have speaking roles. So I looked into this concept of having representation, which basically means you have an agent. And I didn't think I'd be qualified to do that, but I started off with my first agent, and they're based out of here in Chicago. And I just submitted my basic headshots, and I did a quick video self-tape. And these headshots were not professional at that point. They were very basic. They were like through my iPhone. But I used good lighting, and when my self-tape, when they were asking for like a audition self-tape, it was like vertical, it was like stuff I didn't know you needed to include when you're just doing a self-tape in general. But they still gave me a chance, and they said that I have a unique look, and they wanted to represent me. So I said, okay, this is amazing. And through that, you know, it was still pretty quiet with as when I first started, and they were applying me to things. I was still understanding how to submit my headshots. The industry looked different before the pandemic, and now it's really shifted since the pandemic started. And I slowly got better at lighting my self-tapes, at the background. I bought a backdrop, and I was just getting better and being more comfortable being on camera as I'm talking to you all. So I had a little bit of YouTube experience and TikTok experience at that point too. So it started coming naturally to me, because when you do something enough, you get good at it. But eventually with this agency, I was able to sign with other agents, and I was able to be submitted for higher level commercials and even acting spots for TV. I always have TV auditions coming through, and I try my best to put those together and send them in. But a majority of the work that I book are either like student films or commercials and print ads, because I love those. They pay a lot. It's very clear cut as to how they're filming, when they're filming, how long it is. TV shows is a whole entire process, which I am learning about. And these gigs pay really well, and they're really, really fun to do. Not enough to really make a full-time living off of, but still, it's a very fun thing to do in your free time and make some extra money. And what's interesting to me was that like I always struggled with just self-image and confidence. I didn't think I was an attractive guy. I didn't think I had like a good body. I didn't think my hair was nice. I didn't think my beard was nice. It didn't matter, because, you know, slowly I just worked on myself. You know, my agent told me that I had a unique look, and I didn't know what that meant until I did some like digging. You know, apparently I'm considered ethnically ambiguous, and I got that growing up. They're like, oh, Camille, are you Mexican? Are you black? Are you Asian? And I was just like, oh, I'm Pakistani. And people would be so surprised. I'm like, what can I do with this unfair advantage on people, I guess? And acting, I'm able to apply for all kinds of roles, like Latino, Middle Eastern, black, Asian, anything. Like, I just apply to all of them because, you know, who knows? And I've been able to do some pretty cool projects just by applying myself to everything, by having representation. And it's really cool to say that someone like me, with my background and like my lack of self-confidence, was able to get in this and do pretty well at this. It's something that I've always wanted to do, and I'm glad I just did it, so I have no regrets about it. And what do I plan to do with this? I don't know. I just like doing it on the side. And when I go back to school, I'm still gonna have some representation. I'm gonna do gigs on the weekends, on my days off. I can take days off, and when rotations are slow, I can book more gigs. My goal is to, you know, have a lead role in a movie or a TV show one day, but you know, that's more just like, it would be cool to have. But for now, I'm gonna focus on getting my medical education, working on these side hustles, getting better at acting and modeling, getting better at YouTube, social media, and eventually, who knows where the world might take us. That's the beautiful thing of life. You can try so many things, build different skills, because later on, they might come handy. And a lot of the things I've learned with acting and modeling have come in handy. So that's a little bit of background as to how I got started, what my goals are with that. Let's talk about how you find representation. So representation is having an agent, having someone submit you to things. They have the connections to the back door. They have a lot more weight to their word, which is why you need representation. Representation is really good to book gigs you wouldn't have booked otherwise. How do you find representation? You can do something as simple as going to Google, typing in, you know, agency near me, no matter what town you live in. Of course, there's some hot towns that would have agencies, acting agencies, modeling agencies. Just Google it. And if it's not in the town that you're currently in, maybe it's in the next town over, and you just have to be okay with driving. Or maybe you find an agent that does only remote gigs. I have an agent that's only UGC content, and UGC content means user-generated content. So any gigs I get, you know, I've done one for Bumble, I've done one for Snapchat, and I just have to sit at home and record stuff through my phone. Everyone has a phone. Everyone is able to be at home and record. You can do that. You can just find agents that offer that. If you want just remote work, you can find that. Just be okay with rejection. If they don't want anyone right now, their roster is full, then apply in a few months. Like that's happened to me where I've applied to an agency and they didn't like me, but in a few months I applied again with better headshots, and I was saying, hey, I did a few things here, and they're like, okay, we'll definitely take you. And I do want to say that you don't need any kind of like theater or acting background to even consider this, right? And I thought this was so funny because growing up, and I was in school and I went to a liberal arts college, there was a huge theater and drama community, and they were all about acting, and they were a little quirky, and I just thought it was just so weird. I was just so separate because I was studying for medicine. And if you have no idea where to start and you just want to get some experience doing some acting and some modeling and how to do self-tapes and auditions, there's a lot of classes for that. There's courses also online that you can find on either Skillshare or on Google or on YouTube. But if I was more passionate about acting, I would take classes and get better at it and get comfortable with it. Life is too short to be average and just stay within your bubble. So hopefully this video inspires you to go out there and try it yourself. If you are already in the industry and have done stuff like this, you know, go ahead and drop a comment for everyone who might be thinking about it so they have some kind of guidance, they get some kind of inspiration from y'all. Otherwise, thank you all for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and tune in for the next video. I'll see you all later.